controlling down, trying to get maximal depth of range of motion, driving back up. What's up guys, Dr. John Rusin here at the Elite FTS S5 compound, and I'm gonna be taking you through my signature pain-free performance lower body squat day right inside the Unbreakable app.
My name is Lala, and I'm gonna be training upper body today on Dr. John Rusin's signature program, Functional Hypertrophy Training, inside the Unbreakable app.
All right, so we're starting off this workout with a primer for the glutes, posterior chain, before we get into the squats. We're gonna be doing an unconventional variation for the glute bridge. This is gonna have a band around my knees, and that is gonna force us to go into abduction at the hips. And I'm also gonna place my feet together in order to get a frog pump. I'm gonna add a little bit of loading to this, but it's gonna be constant tension, and it's gonna be 4 sets of 20 reps. Now, as I get set up here, I wanna have my feet right next to one another, get the heels as close to the butt as possible, and then I'm gonna be loading this right over my hips. Make sure that you're not hitting yourself right in the hip bone. Instead, you're keeping the knees out, feet together, and we're rising up and thrusting out. Take about a minute of rest between 4 rounds.
So I'm gonna start by priming, doing some face pulls. Since we're in a place that has a ton of toys, I like to create my own suspension trainer. So what I've done is I've got a chain here hung to the rack, and then I've got this kind of ball attachment that I'm gonna hold on to, and I'm just gonna prime that upper back.
We're working dead stop front squats to pins. And instead of using a traditional front squat, we're gonna use the same physics as a front squat using one of my favorite bars, the Elite FTS SS Yoke Bar. I have this in every single gym that I've ever owned, and also every gym that I train in. I make sure to bring it in. Super shoulder friendly, but gives you those same mechanics of that front side anterior load. So the key here is to be able to unrack, to be able to get your brace, and to move slowly through the eccentric while pausing at the pins. That dead stop is going to force an explosive concentric, and we're gonna do sets of 4. We're gonna be chasing this over about 6 to 7 sets all the way up to grab your 4 RM for the day. Since the squat is the key performance indicator lift of this workout, we need about 3 minutes, 4 minutes between working sets here. So instead of just sitting around, we're gonna get in and do a mobility filler. This is called a 45-degree hip flexor stretch. Blue pad down on the ground, knee down. We're gonna come out at a 45-degree angle, and I'm gonna keep my hips square, and I'm gonna be leaning in, adductor stretch, neutral spine. Oscillate here about an inch or 2, micro movements. We're gonna do this for a minute per side.
So I just finished the face pulls, which was a prehab primer, and now I'm gonna go into a mechanical primer. Here we've got 7 sets of 10 of a lower incline dumbbell bench press. We're just looking to get a pump here. Next is gonna be my barbell close grip press. So I'm already about 5 sets in, so let's get it.
So what we have set up here for the first accessory movement of this squat emphasized day is going to be a step down forward lunge, and we're gonna alternate between sides, right and then left. Now this is quite the setup here, but if you just have a step or a stair or even a thicker weight plate, you can have that as a backside elevation. But what we wanna do is have the backside elevated, so when we step down, we're actually decelerating at the quads, driving back up off the quads, and then alternating sides. Now I have the DC block set up here. We probably want about 3 to 4 inches of elevation above where you're stepping down to. And what we're gonna do is actually have a goblet position with a kettlebell or a dumbbell. Let's get into it. So we're gonna front rack this in a goblet position. We're gonna make sure that we're gonna be stepping down, decelerating, accelerating, alternate, and step. We're gonna get 8 per side. Couple setup cues. You want a blue pad. Do not hammer your knees down into the concrete. That is not knee friendly. And the second thing we want to think about is the goblet squat position is going to allow us to be a little bit more erect at the spine. And that's again going to be more forward knee translation.
So today my KPI lift in the FHT program calls for 6 sets of 12 reps of a close grip incline. I'm going to use a flat bench because I already did incline press for my primer, and because we're at Elite FTS, I'm going to use one of these cool neutral grip bars with a little bit extended range of motion. And yeah, so I'm going to get my first set in.
So we got our primer done with the frog pumps. We moved into the pin squats using the SS yoke bar and got the first accessory done with the step down lunges. Now it's all about functional hypertrophy, trying to build up those weak links and trying to callus the system. We have a superset coming here, and it's going to be a machine squat, and I'm going to use this brand new, I've been told by Tom Shepard, pendulum squat from Elite FTS. Now this thing is an absolute beast, but what we're gonna try to do is get a little bit more forward knee translation, get maximal range of motion in the bottom of the squat, but we're also gonna use this pad and be able to stabilize the spine in a neutral position. This is the perfect type of machine to really push hard and heavy and push towards failure, especially for hypertrophy. Let's jump in. So what I'm gonna do with my feet here is I'm gonna not use my squat stance. I already used that squat stance today on the pin squats. I'm gonna be coming in a little bit more narrow, almost toes forward, because I want the knees to be coming forward, translating forward, because this is gonna be a quad burner. Now, as I unrack, I'm gonna use this nifty unrack tool, and then I'm gonna be controlling down, trying to get maximal depth of range of motion, driving back up. Because this is functional hypertrophy, we want full range of motion, and we want constant tension on these tissues. Make sure that you're driving your shoulders into the pad, you're driving your spine into the pad on the backside, and keeping tension in the chain. Don't skirt the range of motion here. We want to go as deep as possible. That's why you're supported on the machine. 3 sets of 12.
So I just finished my bench press and now I'm moving into the accessory work. The program today calls for 5 sets of 5 of a deficit push-up. So because of the lower rep range, I'm gonna add load. So Cam here is gonna throw some chains on my back and we're gonna get started. So I'm gonna use these wood blocks here to elevate my hands, get set up in that plank position. Go ahead, bud. Yep. And the other one? Good job. All right, good. Oh, yeah. Good job.
So this is the second movement of our functional hypertrophy superset for a little bit of a conditioning component because we want a huge amount of volume in a very little amount of time. We're gonna go in and do 3 sets of 12 right here on the Lion hamstring curl machine. Again, constant tension on the hamstrings. Make sure we're not going into anterior pelvic tilt on the machine, and we're trying to keep us with constant tension throughout the entire posterior. This is gonna feel nasty because you just came off of your machine squat and you're gonna come right into here, and then you can take your rest period.
still continuing on with the accessory block. Next, it calls for 8 sets of 8 reps of an inverted row. I've kind of got myself set up here in the lift. This thing moves. I kind of like that little instability factor. And I've got a box here. I'm gonna elevate my feet for the row. So let's get set up here. I'm gonna go just about shoulder width here with my grip, place my feet up on the box, lift my hips up just to the bar.
Not gonna lie, that new Elite FTS pendulum squat humbled me with 2 25-pound plates on it. It was brutal, but it got me the pump of my lifetime. Quads, glutes are on, hamstrings are spicy. I don't have a whole lot left, but that's okay because this is the last 2 minutes of your training day. What we're gonna be doing here is a functional metabolic finisher. Functional because we're gonna be going through different planes of motion. I'm gonna go into the lateral plane and also rotational planes. And what we're doing with conditioning is it's gonna be a 2-minute constant work set. The exercises are gonna be going out into a lateral lunge with the kettlebell in one hand, and then I'm gonna switch with the kettlebell, and I'm gonna be coming through to a curtsey lunge. This is gonna lead the entire time on the right for a minute. After that minute's done, I'm gonna lead with the left. That's the 2-minute finisher. I expect the heart rates to be high, the legs to be spicy, and you to be laying down on the ground, getting your recovery breathing in after this set. Let's start it off.
All right, so the last movements in my accessory block for today is actually a superset. So I've got 5 sets of 10 single arm row per side and then some chin ups. And actually what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use I'm gonna use these grips up there, the ball. It's gonna be really hard, and also I'm coming off of like double carpal tunnel surgery from a few months ago, but I want to strengthen that grip back up. So I'm going to see how many I can get with that. All right, it calls for 8. I'm going to see what I can do. All right, so here, getting into my symmetrical stance single arm row. The arm blaster in this workout is 8 rounds of 15. I've got 15 bicep curls going right into 15 cable tricep press downs. So again, it calls for a supinated grip, but I've got this cool fat easy bar that I'm gonna use for the bicep curls and then go straight into the cable press downs. All right, so let's go. This is round 1. Here, I'm using a band for my tricep press downs. I just like the way it feels.
Right when you finish this, down on the ground. Let the knees come out to the sides. Hands up. Get the heart rate down. Parasympathetic positional recovery breathing. Stay here for 2 or 3 minutes and then move on with your day. That's the end of a 60-minute workout. You got it all in: squat, lunge, and hinge, and a little bit of accessory work. Good job, guys.